In the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes. Andy Warhol's words were all the rage in the 90s, when fame was the ultimate bragging right. Exactly, that was the vibe back then. Back then, men like Scott Fitzgerald would lounge under a tree and dream of their own 15-minute fame blitz.
No, that's fame. Fame has a 15-minute half-life.
But young Scott didn't just laze around under a tree. His imaginations turned into recurring nighttime fantasies. He penned his vision of the American dream in his third novel, The Great Gatsby. And what did he get for all his efforts? Just a few cents above $13 as his last royalty check while he passed away. Talk about a raw deal for a guy who imagined a nation of dreamers. Just a few years after Scott's passing, The Great Gatsby novel found its way into the hearts of soldiers at war during World War II. Why? How did he go about it? Let's find out in this exciting video. Everyone wants at least some 15 minutes of fame before dying. That is why we often hang on to the belief that anyone can be great, no matter the humble beginnings.
Sometimes something small can represent something much bigger.
It surely can. Scott Fitzgerald's life started in fame and modest wealth. Before his birth, his uncle, Scott Key, was already popular for writing the U.S. national anthem. Young Scott definitely grew up close to fame to know what it feels like.
It kind of feels good.
Scott did not wake up in the world with life's bitter lemons. He was the kid with a nice lemonade hoping to make champagne. His mother came from a wealthy inheritance that sustained the family despite his dad's failed businesses and job roles. And that was the only dent in Scott's early life, his father's misfortunes. Young Scott had enough money and enough brilliance to get him into Princeton University. And so, life was going as planned for young Scott.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
It can only be the issue of love and the way men easily fall under its cunning gravitational pull. Scott Fitzgerald's first love affair would teach him how to dream. It would expose him to where he stands in the American dream. The same love affair will birth his greatest work, The Great Gatsby novel. Yet he would die not witnessing its success. At Princeton, the brilliant Scott was winning hearts with his writing gifts. In the same manner, he won the heart of Geneva King, a 16-year-old Chicago debutante. She was rich, beautiful, and everything Scott thought he wanted. But boy, was this romance a roller coaster. It's like they say, if you think it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Sad, but true.
Geneva was the real-life Daisy Faye Buchanan, the golden girl of Scott's dreams and the inspiration for Gatsby's love interest. They exchanged letters and had a few magical dates, but the reality was far less enchanting. The wealth gap between the Kings and the Fitzgeralds was too wide. Geneva's father frowned at the relationship. At one point, he told Scott,
"Rich girls don't marry poor boys,"
which was like a punch to his gut.
Oh, my poor.
Scott was head over heels, but Geneva? Not so much. She moved on to marry a richer suitor, leaving Scott heartbroken and disillusioned. This toxic affair gave him all the material he needed to create Daisy, the character who was adored but unattainable, loved yet elusive. He loved her for all the right reasons, and she loved him for all the wrong ones. Scott's heartbreak from Geneva shaped his writing, making him more cynical and introspective. It's like he bottled up all his angst and poured it into Gatsby's pursuit of Daisy, a chase destined to end in disaster. Fortunately, Scott Fitzgerald didn't stay heartbroken for long, all thanks to Zelda Sayer, the quintessential flapper. She will also become the woman who would disrupt his world with more madness.
Please, don't be mad.
Don't be mad.
The question now is, why does Scott keep falling in love with the same women? Petite, rich families, and wild characters. Does it have anything to do with his mother-father relationship? Zelda and Scott met in 1918, and it was love at first sight, or maybe more like infatuation at first sight. She's like the stock market, unpredictable and capable of taking you for a wild ride.
Oh, you are a heartless woman, Zelda.
Zelda was vibrant, rebellious, and as intoxicating as a bottle of illegal Prohibition-era gin. They call her the Wild Child. Scott was smitten, and Zelda, well, she liked the idea of being with a famous writer. She became a famous writer eventually. They got married in 1920, and their union was anything but dull. Who knew marriage could be so eventful? They were the original celebrity couple, constantly in the public eye.
Fitzgerald has returned.
Scott channeled their whirlwind life into his writing. The Beautiful and Damned and The Great Gatsby both reflect the glitz and the gloom of their era. Zelda's influence is all over his work, her spirit woven into the characters and stories. But the party couldn't last forever. Zelda's mental health began to deteriorate, and Scott's drinking escalated. Their glamorous life started to look more like a tragic opera. Scott struggled to keep writing while dealing with Zelda's increasingly erratic behavior and his own spiraling alcoholism. Sometimes the hardest battles are fought at home.
Spending.
Despite their troubles, Scott managed to publish The Great Gatsby, which turned out to be a flop. Apparently, nobody needed to read a book about their lives. They can just watch.
Just watch what they do.
Their relationship was a mix of passion and chaos, love and despair. Scott did not stop writing even without much success. All he had was his flash. Zelda was in and out of mental hospitals, and Scott's career was on a downward slide. The Jazz Age ended with a crash, just like their marriage. By the end of the 1930s, Scott was struggling to make ends meet. He moved to Hollywood to try his hand at screenwriting, hoping for a financial comeback. Zelda was institutionalized, and their once vibrant love story had become a tragic tale of what-ifs and could-have-beens. Some people strive to be famous for 15 minutes only to live the rest of their lives in obscurity.
Which one are you?
Without a doubt, The Great Gatsby was just Fitzgerald writing all about his life and dreams. But today, the character achieved the fame that the creator wished for all his life. Sometimes your dreams live on even when you don't. Jay Gatsby, the enigmatic millionaire with a shady past and an undying love for Daisy Buchanan, is more than just a fictional character. He's the embodiment of Fitzgerald's dreams and aspirations.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the dullest one of all?
The kicker. Fitzgerald's dreams, much like Gatsby's, often led to his undoing. Dreaming is great, but sometimes our own ambitions can disrupt and destroy our success. Fitzgerald suffered from what you might call main character syndrome. He saw himself as the protagonist of his own epic story, and that self-perception often blinded him to reality. Being the main character in your own story is fun, until you realize you're also the antagonist. Fitzgerald's obsession with achieving greatness sometimes made him his own worst enemy. He spent lavishly, partied excessively, and chased after an ideal that was just out of reach. This relentless pursuit of perfection mirrored Gatsby's own downfall. Both men were consumed by their dreams, and that consumption led to their respective downfalls.
He threw all those parties hoping she'd wander in one night.
Gatsby got the pool, Fitzgerald got the Hollywood flop. Meanwhile, Fitzgerald's life serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of letting dreams overshadow reality.
Wake up. Get up. Wake up.
Wake up. Unlike his father, Fitzgerald did one thing right. He never stopped writing. This explains why his story did not end after his passing. His work lived on, gaining fame and recognition long after he was gone. The Great Gatsby became a staple of American literature, studied in schools and adapted into films.
I don't know what to say. Please forgive me.
Sure, apologies to Scott for ignoring this masterpiece when he was alive. Soldiers, of course. They surely need some American dream to hang on to while fighting for an ideological war. Zelda also found posthumous fame. Her writings and her life story have been the subject of books, plays, and even ballets. The couple's turbulent love affair continues to fascinate and inspire. Scott and Zelda seem to be the Bonnie and Clyde of literature, minus the bank heists. In the end, Scott Fitzgerald enjoyed his quick 15 minutes of fame while he was alive and enjoyed a lifetime of accolades as the Great Gatsby. Scott Fitzgerald's rise and fall, his loves and losses, and his eventual posthumous rise. His story reminds us that the small things we do in life can echo through generations, sometimes in ways we never imagined. So go ahead, dream big, write your story, and who knows, you might just become famous. If not now, then maybe in 15 years.